the basic idea of graphing, whether you got just in standard form or you have vertex form. Sorry, this is root form or vertex form. Okay, root form, if we have standard form, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to factor. Okay, if we factor, it will help turn it into root form, or we can complete the square. Which is gonna turn it into vertex form. We're not gonna talk about completing the square that much this unit, because honestly, we need the roots the most often. So this is the method you're gonna wanna gravitate towards whenever you're doing questions. In some situations, you might want to do completing the square, in which case you can look back over last unit's methods and strategies for how to complete the square. We want to do factoring. Our last video had how to factor these, so I'm not going to go over them again. I'm just going to talk specifically about graphing from this kind of question. Okay, so we had y equals 0.5, x plus 2, x minus 4. So when we graph these parabolas, these numbers are going to be our roots. They're always flipped for the x values. The reason for this is if we were trying to find what our roots are, at the roots, y is equal to 0. So it's basically like we're subbing 0 into the equation here. So it would be like 0 equals 0.5, x plus 2, x minus 4. So what we could do is if I wanted to find this root, I'd divide away the rest of the equation. And when I divide on 0, it all goes away. Okay, so this would cancel out. And I would get 0 equals x minus 4, which then when I move the x to the other side, x is equal to 4. That's why the numbers are always kind of backwards. You don't have to show all these steps because they're always going to work out the same. You can just look at this and know it's going to be, oh, my x value is going to be 4. So let's graph it. Oh, lost my graph. Okay. I know that my roots are going to be at 4 and -2. So I'm just going to put those points right there so I can see them. -2 and 4. The next thing I have to do is I have to, like, in questions like this with inequalities, it's helpful to know exactly what the parabola looks like. So I'm looking at this a value in front. This is the a, and it's positive. If it's positive, it means it's going to be a smiley face. Happy face. Okay. I don't know exactly what the vertex is yet. In some questions, I don't care because sometimes I might doing just one variable. And so I just want to know what the roots are and what's above the axis and what's below. This might be enough for my question. In this case, if I was asking the actual graph, if the question said graph it and then shade it, if it was an inequality, so for example, if it was like y is greater than this, I would have to do the actual graphing. So to find the vertex, this is what we got to do. Let's make this blue. Okay. We would have to find what's in between those two, the axis of symmetry. So I have 4 plus -2 divided by 2. That's going to be like the average. That's the middle number. So when I average those out, I'm going to get 1. 1's the middle number in between these. Okay. And if you think about it, 1's in the middle. It's 3 away from 4. It's 3 away from -2. So that's my axis of symmetry right there. So if that is my axis of symmetry, that's the x value at the vertex. That is the value right there for x. I know it's going to be 1 something. So what I'm going to do then, once I have that, is sub x equals 1 into equation. So my original equation, all the way up here, I'm going to now sub in 1 for x to find it. So we got y equals 0.5, 1 plus 2, 1 minus 4. These were the x values. So now when I solve, I'm going to get 3 and -3. I'm going to get 4.5. -4.5. Which makes sense when I look at my graph because it should be a negative value. So I can put -4.5 if I care. And now I can actually graph it because I have 3 good points. I can sketch the rest and that's fine. That's a pretty valid graph. Okay, that's how you do it using root form. If you have vertex form, it's a little bit different, and we're going to show that in the next video.